Hello, and welcome to Take This TV, the television book club podcast where each week we talk about our favorite shows with our friends in the fandom. I'm Carmen and I'm joined as always by the amazing Kimberly Woods. Hello.
Hi, hot potatoes.
This season we're talking about Three Body Problem.
And today we are on the final episode, episode 8. It's called Wall Facer. And the Netflix description, a high-level operation up in Saul's life. With emotions and expectations high, the probe launches into space as humanity enters a daunting new era. This
Saul
is your
episode.
reminder. If you have not seen all of the previous episodes, the whole season, finish it first, come back, and then join us because we're about to dive in.
Spoilers.
Yeah, so like you're saying, Saul, this is the Saul episode. He's finally stepping into the light.
So nobody would say like why he was chosen. Do you think it's like a red herring and it's just like, oh, just pick some random person?
I don't know. Well, last episode we were trying to like speculate what got WinJay killed. Like, was it the books? Was it what she said to Saul? And now it seems like, okay, shoot, this was the last person that she talked to before she got targeted. So, like, is that also why he's being targeted? Whatever this was that she told him with the coded message?
Maybe. I don't know. They did confirm that she is dead now. So
Yeah, they
Cigarette Girl did
confirmed
kill
she's
her.
dead. And also, it seems like because the Santi are targeting Saul, it's just confirming, like, them, like, us, you know, picking him as one of the three to be a wall facer. Like, that's part of the reason it seems like they've chosen him is because they're like, okay, the Santi think he's a threat, so he must be important.
Maybe. I was thinking like when the episode first started and the person that he was hooking up with gets murdered in that accident.
Nora?
I was yeah, Nora. I was like, that seemed like a lot of coincidences for that to be an accident. And so then as things were going on, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It was like somebody was trying to kill him.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Nora, but yeah.
I feel really bad for Nora. He forgot her name until the final moment after she was gone, and he was being a jerk. And they were having that conversation, you know, like, why should they care because it's 400 years off? And she was like, you know, I care because I still want things, and you should care too. And he's like, no, it's, you think our ancestors cared, you know, thought about
Saul
me 400
sucks.
years?
He sucks so hard.
She's like, awesome, you're a cynic, great, where's my lift? But
I mean,
Carmen, I think it's interesting because in the beginning, right, we have the Santi trying to target Saul, and some like random occurrence happens where it's like the guy coming by on the skateboard or whatever bumps into Saul, he gets knocked down, or else he would have gotten, you know, killed. And then on the human side, you know, we have Will being launched into space and the drama of that and all this calculation on our side going into it. And then it's like, you know, there's so many things that could have gone wrong, but I don't think that the humans were predicting a cable was going to snap and he was going to like be sent way off where he was just like 3 bombs in.
I was thinking like y'all didn't have a failsafe just in case a cable snapped. Like you were that confident in the cables. You were like, we don't need to have any backups. Like it's all good. This whole fate of humanity, one cable. Hey, it's fine. I thought that was weird. I was like, dang, I would at least like put like an extra cable or like a harness or some kind of lock or something. They're just like, nope. I guess we're doomed.
I didn't realize too that they were like literally, I know that Jen kept describing it as like we're gonna have to thread the needle, but the fact that the sail had a hole in it that was like going through the bomb first before it exploded, I was not expecting that. I was like, whoa, okay, like literally they are doing this 300 times, okay?
Yeah, that was intense. And I was also thinking like, why would the capsule blow up if like the bomb hit it? So maybe
yeah, it seemed to be like exploding before the bomb, which like initially when I imagined it, I was thinking, okay, it would have to like somehow explode behind the capsule to like push it, but
maybe just push the sail and that drag the capsule. I don't know.
I don't know.
I was thinking like because they were showing it and this epic music was playing, but then they kept kind of like showing it going through the different bombs and the different. I was like, oh, something's gonna happen. I've watched too many movies and too much TV. Like if they were gonna be successful, they just would have like kind of sped through it and it would have happened and we would have moved on. But it's just because they kept showing it and building the tension. I was like, something
Yeah.
happen.
I was not expecting something to happen like only 3 bombs in out of 300. Like he was way off. Yeah. And I heard, because Andrew's reading the books, that in the books it's not 300 bombs, it's like 1,000 that it has to go through, but it makes it like 998 bombs of the way there, so it's even more tragic than like
Dang it. It's like somebody who late night was making the calculations and was just like, I guess that's right. I'm sure it's fine. And then it wasn't. Dang, that's depressing.
I had this thought that was like, but what if the Santi like just showed that it had gone off and it really was on course, because they seem to have the power to do that. But then later on we get Santi lady appearing, like the Sophon, to Wade and him, and she was like, we wanted to meet Will. We were hoping it was going to work.
I have a lot of questions about the rules of the Santi. And I feel like in sci-fi especially, it's like the rules are so important because it keeps you grounded in the space. And I was like, okay, so they can't lie. And so every time they say stuff, I'm just like, is that really the truth? Are you lying? I'm like, is innuendo, is like metaphors and analogies, allegories, does that count as lying? Like, so I'm like kind of iffy on some of the things that they say, because I'm like, okay. If it was like a species that's like they're direct and truthful all the time, I feel like some of the stuff they say is a little off from what that would actually be like. And then like being able to manipulate the plane that Thomas Wade was on, and I was like, wait, if you could do that, why do you need Cigarette Girl? If you could control like planes and all the our whole society is built on like using electricity and all these gadgets and stuff. So it's like, if you really wanted to stop progress, just like turn all the power off. So like, I don't understand, because I'm like, the ability to have that much power and control over human society, I feel like then the war's over. Like, why? Like if it's like if the Santi are like for real, if they're about it and they're not halfway crooks and they're like, we gotta stop the humans, do it. So I don't know, I thought that was weird. I mean, the drama, but I get it, but it's weird.
And they also say like, you have a place among us.
And they show him like the vision of his dead self or whatever.
Yeah. But still, like, I'm curious about their motives, because it's like, I don't know. They talked earlier about introducing fear, and like, humans do need fear in order to have progress. And so it's like, are they doing some of this in order for progress? Like, what if we could solve their 3 bodies somehow, if we, they put everybody in a pressure chamber and people had to like hurry up and evolve and figure out stuff. Maybe it's beneficial to them somehow. So it's like hard to know like what is their design and what is not, and what is just kind of like happening because of the moves they're making.
Right. And we also don't know, like, is the Sophons, is it like in a separate consciousness from what the Santi want? Like, is it kind of doing its own thing, or is it like only operating on behalf of the Santi and like the commands they give it? So
that's true, because they like basically programmed it in a sense. So we don't know if it's going to evolve beyond them.
Yeah.
It's like they're introducing a third entity possibly. Yeah. Which is terrifying.
That is terrifying. What did you think about when Saul went to the Planetary Defense Council?
He's so funny. I was laughing at his surprise when he got called onto the stage, because I was like, "Come on, Saul, you come on, get up."
Smart.
Yeah, come on. You didn't suspect this was going to be you.
Like, why else
so
would
I thought that was
here?
funny. I thought that was funny, but also it made me think, like, can you imagine having that immense pressure thrust upon you, like to be this wall facer that people are like, okay, we're relying on you. It's going to be all in your head. We won't question anything, and we're just trusting you to come up with a solution for humanity.
Unlimited power. I mean, there's a part of me that's like, that would be a lot of pressure. Your whole species is dependent, the survival is dependent upon you. But I mean, I think it'd be different if it was like just him.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes me wonder if either he and or one of the other two people are red herrings. And I was also like thinking, I'm sure the Santi know, because I guess the council probably deliberated at some point and spoke out loud who they would select. Or like, I can't tell, is it like the Santi can only hear, or I guess the Sophons really can hear everything people say, or is it like, since they can kind of like impose things on people's vision, can it see everything that you're seeing? How does that work? Is it because of like light refracting? I don't really know. So anyway, I assumed that the Sophons knew who the people were.
Yeah, and plus it was only on the news.
But yeah, but I was like, why would they broadcast that information? You know, like if these people are supposed to be operating in secret, or they're like, so these people are really important. Like, I also think that just like, that took me out of it a little bit, because my family, like, my family was like involved in the military and the governments and stuff. And like, it's a secret. Like nobody, like you would be in trouble if you told anybody anything. So I was like, they would, in real life, that would not happen. Nobody would know. And if they did announce something like that, it would be all a smoke. All of it would be fake. And they would just like, they wouldn't be, it would just be like, what's it called? Decoy people or whatever. So I was like, that's weird.
But I feel like even in this case, like, even if they told him and they didn't broadcast it or slipped him a piece of paper, they would see. I think that's what we're assuming. Because the lady was like...
Because they told the other people. And I was like, well, the other people would be the ones who would like do something about it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I guess they can't get... The Sophon, like the cult people who believe in the Santi or whatever, they're going to know from the Sophons and the Santi, but it's like regular people don't have to know. So
yeah,
I thought that was weird.
You don't have to tell everybody.
Yeah. And then like when, oh my gosh, he's like, oh, I don't want to do it. So, okay. You know, hero's journey, all that kind of stuff, yada, yada, yada. The hero denies the call. Sure. But like, Saul has been such an asshole for 7 hours, and it's just like, come on, man, like, step up, do something right. And he was like, no, I don't want to do it. I just want to go. I want to go smoke a J. I'm like, this guy is our last hope, really. Like, why not Augie? She made the like fiber optic cables or whatever. Like, it seems like she'd be a better choice. But anyway, so
I don't know. WinJay said he's the smartest, so we'll see what he does with his power.
I mean, we haven't seen that. The people just keep saying it.
Season two. We're going to find out. He's finally got the power now. They're finally shifting focus to him. So I feel like season 2 is going to be his real arc. I thought it was funny, though, that every time he tried to deny the power, they were kind of like, yep, you're doing the wall facer thing. You're saying it, but you got something secret in your mind.
Yeah, that was funny.
She was like giving him the smile, like
right on. Sure
like,
thing, sir.
Is everybody gonna keep smiling at me like this from now on?
When he left the UN and he was like, I'm not gonna do it, I'm not a wall facer. And I was like, I hope he gets sniped as soon as he goes outside. And then he did. And I was like, that's what you get. You think this is a game. That's what you get.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
But like every time they tried to kill him, it's like reinforcing the choice that he is the one, which is funny. Like the Santi, like, yeah, sure, if they were successful, he would have been out. But then it just reinforces the humanity's choice. Like, yep, he's our guy.
Like, you're the guy, man. Like, come on.
They think so.
I mean, like, when he was like, let me talk to the shooter or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's weird. I wonder what's going to happen. Maybe this is the moment where like he's trying to probe for information, or he like comes around and accepts his destiny or whatever. And he's like, why would you shoot somebody else, another person? And I was like, hold up, Saul, because like we've been like all over the world and stuff, and mostly in England. But then when he came back to America, they were like, welcome home. And I was like, ain't no way you a black man from America. And you're like, why would you shoot me? Like, bro, what point? You're supposed to be smart. Like, what planet are you on? The
Yeah.
cynical black guy from America is like, oh, you
Yeah.
hurt my feelings because you shot me. Like, no. Like, what?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
that was some bullshit. I was like, no, I'm sorry, y'all.
People have shot people for less
I just like
than an alien directive. So yeah.
my suspicion of disbelief cannot stretch that far. Like, come on, y'all. Come on now. Maybe if it was like one of the white characters, but for Saul, it's like, no, I don't believe
Yeah.
that. So anyway, even after that, like, I feel like that was his third strike of like, he almost gets killed by the car, and Nora gets killed. He gets sniped, and then this guy who was the shooter essentially tells him that they're like a zealot and they're a true believer. And even then, and then he goes to the space or the launch and sees that the plan that Jen had with Will's brain didn't work. And then he's like, "Oh, I don't know. I just want to go home." And I'm like, "What is it gonna take for this man to like get his life together?"
Oh my
man.
gosh.
Anyway, what did you think about Saul?
I'm glad. I thought it was just really funny that he got all this thrust upon him when he's the character who's been the most resistant and, and like not wanting to do anything. So I like the conflict of that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see where he goes. I think he had to go on this reluctant journey, but I'm excited to see where it kicks off next season. But I do wonder, because we got to see him call Augie, and this time she didn't answer. And we got to have Jen say that thing like, you do have somebody who loves you. Which is funny. I mean, I was like, okay, I don't know. Like, we've seen what Will has done and the love Will had for Jen. Augie has not exhibited that level of love to me in this season. Maybe next season we'll get to see a little bit more of that, but like, I don't know. Also, the fact that she wasn't present at the launch, like, I feel like they could have shown her character having a little bit more conflict with missing out on that. Like, sure, she was upset that it was happening, but at the end of the day, like, that's your friend. That was his last wish to do this. Like, he chose to do this. I feel like they should have at least shown her, like, thinking about it or, like, looking up at the sky or, like, it was great that she was off helping people in the now, like, in Mexico with getting clean water and using her nanofibers for good. But to have a little bit more of her, like, thinking of Will, like, she just seemed, like, completely detached. She's like, I'm out, peace out. Like, we didn't have her when he was dying. We didn't have her seemingly thinking about him when he was launching off into space.
Yeah. I've been pretty harsh on Augie the whole season, but I feel like it's because I feel like she, out of all the characters, well, besides Will, who I think is probably the best one, I feel like she has the most potential, maybe second to Jen, to like be a really compelling character. But I feel like they kind of write her in a way where she's really apathetic, and apathy is not charming. It's not cute. It's not charming. It's annoying. It's dumb. And so it's like, why?
Yeah, and I don't mind characters that are unlikable, but I don't think she's meant to be unlikable. Like, it's not like they're, writing her necessarily that way. So, but I also understand that you only have an hour and you have to, like, move through the episode and get through other beats. So I feel like that's where they're,
Yeah, but I mean, to your point, though, I think it's weird that, like, especially because we had that moment with them at the beach house, and we saw that, like, she loves her friends and she cares about them, and she wasn't there when Will chose to die. She wasn't there at the launch. And it's like, you're never going to see him again. Like, both literally and figuratively, like, he's being blasted off into space. And so I feel like, people grieve in different ways, but that just felt a little extreme.
And even if she's diving into the work to, like, avoid her feelings, like, we could still get a moment of her, like, looking up at the sky or something, some little nod that, like, okay, she's trying to bury herself in her work to avoid this, but she's still thinking about it. Yeah. And also, like, unless also she hasn't looked at the news, she has to be aware now that Saul has been thrust into this responsibility. And so she's choosing to just like boop boop.
I mean, I feel
Of
like her
him.
and Saul's relationship is hella toxic. And they're doing the like Hollywood thing of like, oh, you know, their relationship is bad, but maybe they can get together and it'll be good. That's not realistic. In real life, run away. Toxic relationships are bad. Never delete the number, escape, all that. But like, I also just like in the fiction of this show, it's like I feel like I'm more interested in like Jen and Augie's friendship and like sort of the friend group dynamic more than I am like the romance between Saul and Augie. Because I mean,
Yeah.
one, because it's toxic, and also we just haven't really seen them together. Like we don't know what it was like when they were happy together, and the only times
Mm-hmm.
we've seen them together has been like fighting. So it's like, well, why would we want to see more of that? You know?
Yeah. So hopefully next season, maybe we'll see more of that. Maybe she'll come back and be, you know, in some of those scenes with Jen.
We'll see.
But I do feel like they're setting up the romance between them with Jen saying that to Saul. Also, I still want there to be like that secret language between the friends that's being implemented.
Yeah, I hope that comes in. I think that like overall, of the whole season, I think I really like the premise of the show. I like the story of it. I'm interested to see what happens in the like additional episodes next season, whatever's going to happen with that. And I hope that we get to see more of the friends together because it's such a big scope of like the humanity is ending and all that is big ideas and aliens and all that. That I think that like having it on a small scale of like how it affects these people is really where the heart is, especially now that Will's kind of gone. So it's like those other characters, it'd be great to see them kind of come together more.
Yeah. One thing in this episode that I liked too, that I just want to touch on, was when Dashi was traveling on the plane and he was asleep and he had that little sleep mask on that says, "Don't wake the bear."
Dashi is great. I love him.
But yeah, for me too, I'm excited to see particularly what they do with Saul. I mean, I think for him too, he was grieving a lot as well. And so I feel like they used that as an excuse for him not dealing with certain things because he was perhaps the closest to Vera, having worked with her. So I'm looking forward to that next season. I thought it was interesting that for this this whole season, like they chose to open it with the way the book opened, and that they chose to close it with the way book 1 ended. As well. And I was really excited to get that scene because I liked it in the book. Where Dashi takes them to some locusts in the book, and here it's the cicadas in Florida. But I thought that was a nice touch for this.
Yeah, that was really sweet. Dashi is the best.
He is. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed the 3-body journey. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We're at Take This TV on Instagram and TikTok. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So leave us a review, and we'll see you for next season. Thanks so much. And remember, it's dangerous to watch TV alone.